I'm here with Phanteks at Computex 2024, and they have some incredibly cool tech I want to go ahead and show you guys. Let's start with some water cooling stuff. Phanteks has been making custom water cooling gear for quite some time, but they have a new kit, and it's all about their Glacier EZ Fit System. Basically, what they're doing is they're using like a shark bite fitting, the way to basically make water cooling available for everybody. They want to make it easy, where basically you can get into the hobby and kind of expand from there. And it's really cool because basically how it works is you'll have these built-in fittings, and you can do it with hard or soft line tubing. The kit comes with soft line, and basically you just stick it in there and you can't pull it out. It's really in there. And basically to release it, all you do is you push it down and pull it right out. It's just that easy, and that's actually really cool. So basically, the kit that they're going to ship with is going to have, your pump reservoir combo unit. You're going to get your water CPU water block. The GPU water block will be separate, and then you'll get a radiator with their fans. That should be around $500 is what they're saying, which is actually not all that bad of a price to get into custom water cooling. So it will come with the soft line tubing, and how they actually make these fittings work for both the soft line and hard line tubing, which is great because other kits, you'd actually have to replace the fittings altogether. So basically they have this little insert which makes it all possible. So basically it's very easy to plumb up, and they have a bunch of different examples of it here, and I'm all for it. And another really cool product is that Phanteks has basically supersized the Enthoo Pro with the Enthoo Pro 2 XL. Basically, they made a case that can support 23 fans to be able to cool pretty much anything that you could think of. This case is designed for something like if you're going to do a super high-end workstation, something with maybe a dual socket motherboard and something up to like 4 dedicated GPUs. This can support it, and there's not much else on the market that can. And they're bringing the price down on this, hopefully to like the $250 range, which if that's true and that happens, this is gonna be the best case for those high-end workstations. One of my favorite cases of all time is the Phanteks P400A. Well, today we got the G400A, and this thing is absolutely sweet. Basically, they took this same kind of styling and tooling that they have used previously, and they kind of just made it a little more modern. First off, you're gonna have support for like back connect motherboards. They have a couple of examples of that here. And they added just a couple really nice comfort features. For instance, taking off like the front panel, it's just as simple as that. You just pull it right off. There's just a little latch up front. If I set that down, they have a nice little dust filter. Again, super easy to remove. And what I wanted to show here was basically how they designed this front panel. Is they actually have it's designed with to be able to support the 340mm fans that this will ship with up front, and there's going to be one in the rear. It's actually designed in a way to make sure that there's no like turbulence sitting between that little gap. This should help with better cooling performance and directing the air to its proper area. This should help in help reducing the temperatures and should result in a really nice little effect. Another thing about this case that I really like is that you'll have tons of cooling support. You can fit another 360mm of fans down below towards the bottom of where the power supply shroud is. And then you can do a 360 up top, and then you have that 140mm that I mentioned that comes with the case in the back. Overall, this is a really, really nice case, and I like that they focused on making sure that there was plenty of room for airflow. Everything is perforated where it needs to be, and everything is also super easy to use. Like pulling off this little filter up top is just as simple as just a little push. And then, when it comes to the differences, there's a couple different versions here. We have the G400A and the G400N. The main difference is that the G400N has a really cool back tempered glass panel that actually shows off, basically there's a cable comb feature that basically is built in to kind of show your custom cables. Kind of gives you another way to kind of show off your build, and I really appreciate it. And building off the G400N, the N also stands for their NEXLINQ system. Basically, this is the new system that Phanteks is putting together to kind of link all of their software integrated RGB. So basically, they're showing off their utility here. And I like it because it's not all that complex. It's very, very simple. There's not a lot of like extras that some of the other manufacturers are throwing in, and I really appreciate seeing that. So up here we have a couple different products that they're showing here. So the actual NEXLINQ hub, this isn't available just yet to buy separately. It'll be included in the cases, but it is something that we do want to go ahead and show here. They're showing off a couple products here. So first off, they have their M25 G2 fan. So basically, they're an updated version of the previous fans they have. And what they'll be doing is they'll be selling them pre-assembled, and they're basically daisy chain fans. So instead of being like, fans where basically there's like a no connection cable, those ones are all running off like magnets or some kind of, pogo pin style, they went for their approach with cables. The reason for this is they were able to drop the price, which means buying a kit like this is only gonna be $30. So you're gonna get some really good looking fans with these like infinity mirror center hubs at $30. And they kind of come screwed together. And the reason why it's nice that they're doing it screwed together instead of doing one single assembly like some other manufacturers is the fact is, if one of these fans dies, it's super easy to replace. You just gotta unscrew it and put it back in. It's pretty nice to see. They also have an upgrade to their Glacier 1 M25, which is basically their AIO liquid cooler. Basically, it's gonna be very similar to the previous one. It's just gonna be updated with being compatible with their NEXLINQ software. It also has a nice little fan up top, which should be able to go ahead and provide some additional cooling to your VRM components. Phanteks also has their RGB cables, and what they're showing that's a little different about these ones compared to some other competitors is the fact that they're not just gonna be like extensions. Rather, they're gonna run all the way back to your power supply. This means you're gonna have less bulk and you're not gonna have as many cables running through the back. And it should simplify things, and these look really nice. And because of how they're tucked in, the actual size of these is a much slimmer profile than I would have expected for a product like this, which is really cool to see. Then probably the main event of the entire show, and this might just be the best case I've seen so far, is the Evolve X2, and this case is gorgeous. Basically, it's got glass panels on the front and the two sides, so front and back, but it's still gonna be designed for high performance cooling. And that's all thanks to the design concept that they followed. Instead of kind of making it a wider case to allow for additional cooling, they went a little taller, and I appreciate it because it takes up a smaller footprint on your desk, and basically, so it's lifted up. So what you're gonna be doing is a bottom to top airflow scheme. So basically, you can fit 320 millimeter fans down below. The ones that they have in here are 30 millimeter fans, so they're a little thicker, which should move a little bit more air. That's gonna provide better cooling to straight to your GPU. And then as they go up, it should also provide plenty of airflow to get to your mount for your radiator up top. And they have plenty of support for their all-in-one liquid coolers, and it gives a super clean look. And additionally with this case, because it's designed for those BTF motherboards, it's all just kind of, it doesn't feel like a PC case. It feels like a piece of art. And I love the silver aesthetic that matches with this board, the Project Zero board from MSI, and everything just really looks nice. If we come around back, one thing I will talk about is how they also did it is because they're gonna do glass, it can't look bad. And that's one of the things that sometimes will happen when you're dealing with glass back PC cases. Well, for this one, what they did is they put routed channels for your cables and cable combs to keep everything looking perfect. And it's not gonna be super bulky. You still have your nice cables that you can show off on the back, while at the same time having the no cables up front, which is super cool. Overall, I think Phanteks has absolutely nailed it with this case, and it's definitely my favorite case I've seen so far. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.